You are now listening to Appointment, a podcast dedicated to showcasing the very best direct primary care providers in your community. These guests are taking the initiative to transform how you receive your healthcare services by simplifying the process and improving how healthcare is done. Appointment is sponsored by AppAccess, helping independent healthcare providers and entrepreneurs take control of their online presence by better engaging their mobile audiences no matter where they are. Learn more at appaccessllc.com. I am your host, Jonathan Christopher, and let's get started. In part 2 of my interview with PA Leslie Ware, she shares with us her thoughts on how she wants to develop her practice in the South Charlotte area. And she shares with us how she would like to discuss with her patients how they can take a more hands-on role on lifestyle education as a whole. And we get to know a little bit about her staff as well. Let's check it out. So you're making good progress.
Yes, I am. The setting is all set. My clinic is all upfitted, and I'm out in the community forging relationships, identifying individuals like people who know people who need healthcare, and trying to market it online through various social media platforms. And I've entertained the idea of a blog. I've had my website built and just trying to marry all the pieces so that the people will come.
Well, tell me a little bit about what you or how you see your patient population looking. You're in a particular community. In a perfect world,
yeah.
Who are the people you would be able to draw in from this neighborhood?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's situated along South Boulevard in the South Park area, and there's a high Hispanic population here. So I've forged some relationships with the Spanish-speaking community. I very intentionally have my marketing materials in both English and Spanish. My awesome personal patient care coordinator, Stephanie Marquez, is Hispanic. She's actually from Spain, and she's a beautiful person who is reaching out and helping me to spread the word for this community. It's also sort of a mixed demographic from an economic standpoint. There are lots of small businesses around. It's close to South Park. In terms of the small business engagement, I'm trying to work with employers to try and save money on the second most expensive health benefit, which is healthcare, and letting them know that the direct primary care memberships are an awesome benefit to offer to their employees. It's open enrollment season, and so I'm trying to create some awareness around the DPC model that can be folded into the rest of their benefits package.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you have a good team. How many people do you have on your team? Tell me about them.
Oh, yes. So it's a small team, which is typical for a direct primary care micro practice. It's myself and Stephanie. So I do the healthcare piece, and she does everything else.
That's a good arrangement, yeah. I guess.
So it was a little challenging trying to select the perfect person because, again, you have to really be dynamic in this position for the patient care coordinator. You have to, foremost, be very personable with patients. That's what I want more than anything, is that they are able to engage my patients and make them feel comfortable and at home. And she does that perfectly. Having back office skills, learning how to do the medical piece is important. That can be taught and trained, and she's just jumping in very effectively with that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. She does some of my marketing, and she's really savvy because she's younger. She's a millennial, and that's what millennials do. They love technology, and so
there's definitely a value there. Yeah.
Yes, so that's she brings
awesome.
A lot to the table.
Yes, I've had a chance to meet her. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit more about the practice as far as you see it. What services are you offering? I know direct primary care practices may or may not offer certain services, comparing to others or what have you.
Yeah.
What's your focus?
My focus is primary care. Right. So I see individuals from 13 and up, mm-hmm. and I offer acute care, urgent care visits. I manage chronic health problems, just like you would see at any other medical practice. I do health promotion, which is something that I'm really particularly interested in. So I have a therapeutic lifestyle change membership that offers all of the basic healthcare benefits in addition to helping individuals manage any sort of lifestyle related issue. Because what I've learned over the years is that most of the health complaints that people will come in with, or various symptoms or conditions, are preventable. They're lifestyle related and associated with some sort of stressor that people chronically introduce to their lives. So I have a big interest in health promotion, and rather than offering individuals a handful of medications to manage each of their symptoms or complaints, this setting allows me the ability to be able to take my time with the patients, to educate them on what's happening in their bodies and in their lives, in their daily lives. Because I find what happens a lot of times in the traditional model of healthcare is that it's a volume-based sort of industry. So you have 20 patients or more to see a day, and you only have a few minutes to see them. So it's more, you're more inclined to give them a medication. They say, hey, I have this symptom. You say, oh, I've got a pill for that. And you don't have time to hear them out before the next patient comes along. Or if you want to be thorough with that patient, you'll fall behind, and that's not fair to the other patients. So that's one of the big blessings of being in this sort of a model, the direct primary care model, because it affords you the time to really change the trajectory of people's health and to get to know them better, so that they optimize their health, and to do it with less medication, less side effect, less cost is just an amazing thing to be able to do.
And I actually recently had this very conversation with Dr. Chad Savage up in Michigan. And one of the things that actually drew me to pursuing, as you know, the PA profession, yes, which one day I hope to be amongst.
Yes.
So one of the reasons that I pursued that was the amount of time I had when I was living in the Virgin Islands. I had an awesome experience with this PA who spent, oh my gosh, must have been 20 minutes, which was a brand new, I mean, it blew my mind, because I was like, are we just shooting the breeze right now? Like, you know, and so I was like, oh, I think I'm going to go that avenue, you know? And, you know, we had a good chance to talk about how physician assistants play a role in, and I learned a lot through that experience and that relationship with him. Yes. And that had a big part on my decision making. But then the second thing that happened was recently maybe in about May of this year, 2018, I had experienced some tinnitus in my ears, and I was freaking out. And I made an appointment to see my doctor, and she was out of town. So they said, well, we have this new doctor. Would you be willing to sit down with her? And I said, yeah, sure, you know, and went to see her. And mind you, this physician was months out of school. And she looked overwhelmed and spent all of 3 minutes with me. I said, yeah, I'm experiencing some tinnitus. And she was very terse and just pushed me along. And I was like, there's got to be another way. Yeah. So then I did some research and found out about direct primary care. So I'm always looking, long story short, I'm always looking for things that are going to provide the patient more value and to build that relationship with them.
Yes.
And as a patient myself, I have to look at it from my perspective, since I'm not a healthcare provider yet. Yes. But, you know, so I'm seeing this and I'm like, this is not, my experience has not been thrilling, you know? And so I definitely understand the value of how someone can decide to pursue direct primary care.
Yeah. People are looking for that more and more these days because the whole landscape is changing. It's costing more for healthcare, and people are having to take on a greater share of that cost, even if it's an employer-sponsored health insurance plan. They're having to pay more on co-insurance and things like that. So they're having to become more informed consumers and paying attention to the quality of the visit and the experience that they get, especially now more of their money is on the table. Even with the medications, it's a huge hassle for people to have to get prior authorizations for their medications. They go to the pharmacy, it's not there. They have to call back to their physician's office and kind of haggle with the insurance companies and that. So if I can spend time on the front end educating them about their health, offering them alternatives other than the medications, it really is a win-win for everyone.
As you can tell, Leslie is very passionate about her practice and very passionate about her patients. And in the next episode, she shares a little bit more about her patients, relationships with them, and also what it's like to be an owner and operator of a physician-owned practice. Tune in next time.